to episode 136 of Naija's Geeking Out, your favorite podcast, your favorite comic book podcast with a Naija twist. And we're glad to be back. Thank you all for joining us again. So today we have got a special guest. But before I get to our special guest, who is a writer with one of the comic book companies in Naija, before we get to him. So we just want to go around the table and see who we've got. All right. Dapo, how are you doing?
Yay! I'm good. You know, it's nice summer. We're summer in London. Shirts are off. And everything. Yeah. Great.
I tell you. Sun's out, buns out. Yeah.
Belay out.
Today, how are you, man? How are you doing?
Yeah, so I'm good. Like here, like I said, summer is summer is your winter, but at least we still have summer here now. Yeah.
So now you have to wear one jumper instead of two or three.
Exactly, instead of 2 or 3. So we are good. We are happy.
Nice. You looking forward to Friday?
Definitely. No, that will be Thursday for me. I'm not waiting.
Oh, really?
I'm not waiting. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't wait. The spoilers are already getting too much. I don't want to be spoiled anymore.
This is your confidence. The way you said definitely. This is your confidence. I hope you don't regret it.
Oh no, I have my expectations set right already. Okay. So I am not here. Yeah.
Okay,
you're preparing yourself.
No, I already know what I'm expecting. I'm not expecting a god tier, change the entire world kind of movie.
Okay.
I just expect a decent plot that holds up and is entertaining enough. Like, just give me that and I'm okay.
So I want you to bring the same energy when you come to criticizing the multiversity and factor, all those multiverse factor that you brought for Across the Spider-Verse to the Flash.
He would now. You know he would.
I don't know what you're talking about.
When he was talking, I was like, okay, just maintain the same energy.
See, there's a difference here. Across the Spider-Verse holds itself to a higher standard. The Flash, I'm not expecting logic or sense in their multiversity. Like from the trailers, you already know this is not going to be a very sensible, logical time travel. It's going to be Back to the Future kind of time travel logic. Yeah. So I'm not expecting that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad that we're aligned. So on to our special guest, the fourth part of our quartet today. And we have a comic book writer all the way from Naija, the motherland. We have Udeke joining us. Udeke, how you doing, bro?
I'm good.
What's up, my G? It's good to have you all. It's good to have you here. Yes. Yeah. So Udeke is the writer from 4-7 Studios. So what's up, bro?
Yeah, a lot has been happening.
I can imagine.
Because to take it from when we started and then the gaps we had, there's just been a whole lot going on.
Oh, wow. So, okay. I can't wait to delve into that. But we want to get into some introductory questions first. Like, we want to just get to know you. And we always start with the standard. First off, you need to decide who you stand with, us or the losers. Marvel versus DC. Marvel or DC.
Who are the losers?
I don't know.
No, it's for you to decide.
Yes.
I don't stand with losers, man. I mean, tough times don't last. You know, tough people do. So
true.
Yeah, definitely doesn't matter. I'm DC all the way. I've been DC.
Better person. Yeah.
Very tough for you. I mean, the last time it wasn't tough was the 90s. Okay, I respect that.
You respect that? No, I don't think. I don't think.
I've gone to points. You are not fun.
So you know what's interesting? As a kid, I had exposure to both at the same time, Marvel, DC, and then nobody influenced my decision. I just chose. So who would have thought that along the line, you guys would be having fun, seeing the losers. But no worry, it doesn't matter. The tables can still turn.
Yeah. To be fair, you're an Arsenal fan, so I can that energy. You have to keep it consistent.
I know who was responsible for that.
That was
someone. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Ineke, I don't understand how a Man U fan can even be talking to us at this moment in time. They just lost their one claim to fame. Okay.
It happens. These
You
things
just have to
happen.
ignore them because honestly, it's well,
These things
it's
happen.
not by being bold, yeah.
Oh, it's true. It's true. It's true. So, okay, cool, great. So, I wanna get to know you a little bit more. So, I read a couple of your books on 47 Studios, which guys, if you don't know out there, so spell it out FOURSEVEN studios.com, and then you can read some of the great stuff that Odeke has written
For free, by the way. For free.
Yes, for free.
Yeah.
So I personally, I've read over the last few days. I've read 3 of these. So I read Odogu, Shifter, and Tinkan, and I think that one read. I think you read the
So
same, and you read.
I read Shifter, Point Blank, and Wafi City.
Yes. So I first off, I absolutely love Odogu and Shifter in particular. I think maybe even Shift. No, I think it's both. And
Can you talk a bit more about what they are?
Yes. So Odogu is about a mechanic or mechanic.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Can I just say something here? I can no longer hear that word Odogu without hearing that song in my head.
Which song?
Burna Boy.
Odogu, Air Comes the Lion. You know that thing that the lion.
Oh, not Burna.
No, not Burna. It's a do you know what I'm talking about?
The Lion of the Jungle.
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
So Odogu is a mechanic who basically has a better gene.
Yeah.
And the better gene has been passed down from and this is one thing I like. So can I talk a little bit about this, Funeke, without can I spoil this a little bit? Okay. Yeah. So back in Biafra times, when so guys, if you don't know, there was a big conflict in the kind of 60s in Nigeria where the Igbo land, as we say, wanted to is it abdicate or like come out of Naija, and then there was like secede, exactly, and there was
abdicate,
terrible. My bad, sorry. I apologize. It's not often, but I'll give you that one.
He has spent too long in the UK.
From Nigeria, and then there was a terrible conflict between, a civil war within Nigeria itself, and lots and lots of people passed on, were killed. So this kind of harkens back to that, and during that period where there was conventional warfare as well as guerrilla warfare. Now, what has been introduced is that there was also some genetic warfare as well, where kind of a super soldier serum was being introduced, but it didn't take. So people that were given that serum either died or, didn't show any effects or any powers. But this now got passed down several generations. And now Odogu is just a regular mechanic. And if you see this guy, like what you would think of a standard a car park mechanic, like big, bald head, singlet wearing, not vest, singlets, gap teeth. Like, I absolutely love the art. It's very, very Nigerian. And then the dialogue is I think the strength of this and Shifter, where it feels authentic, very, very, very authentically Nigerian. Like they are speaking the way you would speak in a car park, or motor park, as we say. If you're going from one state to another, if you've ever gone from, interstate travels in Nigeria, you go to the motor park and, and it's full of very, who I be for what, like lots of netting. It's so authentic, and I actually found myself chuckling out loud with the interactions between the different characters. So that's Odogu. Shifter is about a boy who, so he comes into puberty and then he starts developing some powers as well. So we don't really know what the full backstory is of how he got these powers, but the way he thinks, and Aduneke, reading this, I was really thinking about you. Do you have a younger brother?
Yeah, I have 3.
You have 3. I felt this was very much you, because I know your mom is a very strong influence in your life as well. And it was like a kid, like maybe 17 or so, secondary school, it's kind of an average Joe, and then his powers kick in, and then he becomes good at sports, and he's looking at girls are checking him out, he's fighting against bullies. He becomes like the local hero for his.
So is Oneke basically telling us his life story? Is that autobiography?
That's a
I
good
don't think
question,
we can make that conclusion yet.
Well, yeah. So I loved it. Like, there's a bit where Odeke is talking about his room, and he's like, "Look, he's now doing this superhero stuff where he's taking out the burglary proof."
Yeah.
And like that's like standard callback to Nigeria. If you live in Nigeria, you have burglary proof.
Yeah.
Taking out the burglary proof from his room and then going out and doing his superheroing and coming back before his mom wakes up. And there's a bit where he goes, if my mom comes into my room and sees the burglary proof is gone, my room is going to turn into a hospital room or something like. Just that reference to corporal punishment and slaps and kicks, like standard Nigerian parenting.
Totally.
Yeah. It was. So I really like. Yeah.
I just want to add. So I've also read Shifter, and for me, the dialogue is the strongest aspect for me.
Really good.
To be honest, I think the dialogue is the strongest aspect in all your comics. It rings true. A lot of Nigerian comics have an issue with language, and I understand why, because they're trying to please 2 or 3 different masters. They're thinking, oh, I want it to be in English so that everybody in the world can understand it, but then people on the streets of Nigeria don't speak that way. No. And it's tilted.
Yeah.
But in here, I love the way what you've done. They speak the way I expect people to speak, and where they've used certain slang that might be too difficult, you've given kind of a little subtitled translation. So I absolutely love that. I like Shifter. So I read Shifter, Point Blank, and Waffy. Now I like Shifter because Shifter, to me, for almost any superpowered comic universe, it's your Spider-Man, it's your the young guy with powers. To me, it's always, for me, it's always like I like it to be my first point of entry into that universe.
Yeah.
So I like that with it, and also I can relate to the Nigerian nation of it.
There's
the school,
there's a part where they're chasing him, and he's on a bicycle and he's riding and he's dodging and he's weaving. So it's 2 guys in a car chasing him and trying, and the passenger dude is like, jam up.
Yeah.
And then the boy weaves and then he avoids them and he dodges them and everything. And then the guy in the passenger side looks at the driver and says, I don't think you see me go learn how to drive. And then the guy in the driver's side is like, no, I don't want me to talk anything. I was like, that was really, really good. I just
the best part for us, the creators, was the dialogue. I mean, we'd find ourselves laughing at what we're creating, and we actually have to make sure not to put in too much because we'll be enjoying ourselves. This particular thing you said, we had this as a conversation. If you see on the credits, my friend Kingsley Easy, who I co-founded it with, we mostly do most of the work. So when we letter, we really sit down, to focus on the dialogue, make it as relatable as possible. Sometimes when I'm writing, like being in my writer state and I'm giving too much English, he like calls me back like, whoa, bro, hold on. So that really helps. In the process.
That comes through very clearly that work was done, and I think the work has been done very well. So I'm very happy with that. One thing, also, I also read Point Blank on Wolf City. Now I realize there's a few more comics I've not read, but one thing I noticed is the 3 I read seem to be interlinked.
Yeah, they are.
Yes, and I noticed it straight away. There seems to be this. I don't want to call him a super cop. I'm not sure whether Kex has come across this chap in the ones you've read.
Yeah, he's in Shifter, I think issue 3 or so.
Yes, he's also in Point Blank. He's also in the Wolf City. Is it Waffy or Wolf City that you?
It's Waffy.
Yeah. There's an I at the end, right?
No I.
Oh, why am I? So I'm the one I did I. Okay, sorry. It's Wolf City. So I straight away, I'm attracted to this character now. I'm not quite sure where he's gonna go. He doesn't seem to be, as far as I know at this point, he doesn't seem to be superhuman. But he just seems to be a good cop in midst of corrupt officers, and I think actively his fellow colleagues are trying to frame him and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really intrigued with his character.
Okay.
At the moment.
Okay, I'm gonna read this.
Yeah, but I've not read all the other comics. So I don't know whether there's a particular comic else that's focused a lot more on him. I mean, I think we do get some backstory in one of the. I can't remember whether it was Point Blank or Wolf City. There's some backstory as to when it was a young chap that we see
that's
some
Point
of.
Blank number
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Okay, cool. So one thing, Ureke, is just curious in terms of your influences. Like, who are there particular, I don't know, writers, whether foreign or domestic, or like what got you into this? Why did you choose, or why did you decide that? There's this thing in my head, this earworm almost that I need to get out, and okay, this is the medium I'm going to choose to do it.
Okay, so comics were a rarity for me as a child. I didn't have many, right? So I that just kind of created a need to make mine, and I did that a lot. I mean,
Right.
I
Okay.
can still remember some of the characters I
Okay.
made by myself as
Yeah.
a kid. They were cheesy, like really
Yeah.
cheesy, but
Yeah.
I did that. So that has always been an idea. And then, of course, Super Strikers was always
Of
like
course.
anytime I wanted to feel
Yeah.
maybe I can't really do this, you just see Super Strikers like if they did
Yeah.
it, I can do it too. I don't know how, but I can make it work.
Yeah.
So when I got into uni, I met Kingsley, and it just started from a conversation, just like that. And he was into comics too, and right there and then we decided to do something. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that when 4/7 came to the picture, but the
Yeah.
idea was soon at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So we're just trading ideas back and forth. This was in my first year. So
Yeah.
first year happened, second year happened. We were just talking, nothing concrete. And
Yeah.
when we were in 300 level, we just came together. We're like, let's make this official. Like, let's finally put a stamp to you that this is what we're going to do. So we sat down and started exchanging ideas. So it's interesting to note that everybody had their own characters. So he'll
Right.
talk about his, I'll talk about mine, and then we just kind of brought it together, And
Oh wow.
contrary to what is like, for example, now Udogu wasn't the first book we put out or worked on. The first one we worked on was actually Flux, and it was his original character that we modified,
Okay.
into what it is. Yeah, if you
Okay.
check the website, you see the Flux.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
FLUX. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one question: the 47 number.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that allude to? Is it dimension 47 or what is it?
Okay. I wish Kingsley were here on the podcast. He would actually have to answer that. But
Yeah.
he both of us have this, like, our mothers were very strong influences, very strong Christian influences. I think his is even stronger than mine, if I'm being honest. So
Yeah.
he was like, I think it has Hebrew connotations, 7 being the number for perfection, and 4 being a pointer to creating something.
Oh wow.
So that's just like the combination of
Oh, I
both.
love that.
He he was so particular about making sure that this was reflected, that we had a meeting and it was just the logo we're deliberating on. And I think we were there for like 2 hours. I'm telling you, it just
Oh
had to
wow.
be, what it had to be, right?
Yeah.
That uniqueness
Yeah.
was very necessary. And since I liked the idea, so we're just working to make it like a 2-hour deliberation on a logo. That was all we did that day.
Oh
But
wow.
it
Yeah.
was all part of the process, and it's been a whole lot of fun.
And the logo
So as
looks really, really good.
It looks
Just
good.
putting it out there, like, honestly, I didn't see the 4/7 on the logo for a while. I thought it was an infinity symbol until I looked at
okay,
it properly now. Yeah, so it
okay,
looks really good. Yeah.
You
yeah,
know what?
yeah,
I have to look at it again now, and now I see it.
Yeah. You now see it, right? Yeah.
yes. So that
Oh,
was
that's
that,
really
and
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, and so far, people have come, people have gone. Honestly, the team has just kept changing and changing, but
Changing.
they've
Okay.
changed from, me, him, his other brother, and some others that have been consistent. And the
So
journey has been quite
can I ask a
interesting.
question?
Yeah,
Kingsley is an artist. Is that
yeah,
correct?
he is.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So does he do it? Right? Does he do any of the writing at all?
No, he doesn't.
Okay. So are you? Okay. Okay. That makes sense. I
Okay.
always like it. Reminds me of the the old school teams of like Stan Lee and Kirby.
Yeah,
Like, oh, that's great.
Or standard date.
Yeah.
A writer. I mean, even Muriwa and Dosu are like that.
It's the same. Yes,
yeah. So that's that collaborative spirit of one person is bringing the words, but at the same time, you're still having. I assume you're still having influences on how you want the characters to look. Yeah, so it's not like you just stick to writing. Don't tell me how to draw. And you're not saying that you just stick to drawing, don't tell me how to write. I assume it's sort of like a symbiotic relationship, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it is, but not all the time, because sometimes he has his ideas. Like before I even come up with a character, maybe he just needs to put words to an image, right? And then he gives me like, what can we call this person? What do you think this could be? What do you think this could be like? And I'll just give some ideas, and it just flows from there. And sometimes, because I also have, artistic affinity, I could actually make some scripts and be like, okay, this is the character I'm thinking of. I want to call him this and all that. You think we should touch it up here or there? It's just been collaboration. Even when we disagree, there have been those moments, and sometimes if it's too difficult, we just put it on pause and just move to another character, because of course everybody has, in this industry there's ego, and that's something we try to play down as much as we can, but it comes out. But either way, we still make it work. And another thing about our characters is we base them on people we know in real life. It's so interesting. Like people we know in real life. Yeah.
I'm going to ask who Odogu is based off of.
Okay. So if you read Odogu #1, there's a villain that's introduced. Odogu and Okigwe, right? So both of them are based on one person.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's a mutual friend of both of us. And I think one day when we're having a conversation of what this character will be, because we started off with a name, we just Odogu, sort of like, let's move forward. So we're just looking around, and the way Odogu is shaped, the guy is not shaped like that, but it's close.
Okay.
So we just took that image, made some edits, and then built off of it. So there's a realness to the whole thing, and then it's also kind of funny for us.
Basing it off of someone like like basically, guys, if Odogu he's like a Wolverine type character in terms of he's like a spark plug. He's not too tall, but he's thick, and he's like, you can see that this is like one very strong person. Okay, so I'm also curious about you mentioned about the industry and egos and stuff like that. So I'm curious about some of the challenges that I'm sure you've faced and overcome, or some of them that you're even facing now within the Naija comic book industry. Like it's something we always ask our Naija creators on here. Like how difficult is it? Is it what are the difficulties that you're facing currently?
I think primarily it would be just resource. Yeah, that is the main constraint. We have to fund ourselves. That is number one. But the beauty of the industry in Nigeria is that it's still reachable, in a sense that when you see the guys at the top, they don't seem too far away, because the industry is still growing.
It's fresh. Yeah.
So in the midst of not for at one point we started out with one laptop. Like Kingsley didn't have a tablet. He was doing the coloring on Photoshop, with his mouse. Like that was how how it was at the beginning. But eventually he started getting tools. Some other people who joined us started getting tools themselves, but it was a slow process. But I think one thing that just kept us grounded was that it was too early in the day, even though it came up, to be worried about how much money we could pump into this. I think our focus was, and still is, primarily content. Like, we need to saturate everywhere. Not that if you go to our site, you just see maybe one book, and it probably came out in 2017. So that's something we use to sort of console ourselves, because it's really easy to when you ask yourself the question of where is it going, and all the logic and economic factors start coming into it, it tends to dampen, the spirit. And there have been those moments, but we always just manage to focus on the storytelling. So I think, of course, we're still working. Like, one of our goals is to be at Comic-Con. Like, it's something we're working towards.
Which one? The Lagos one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys have been at Have you guys been at Comic-Con before?
No, we haven't. It's something we're working towards. So once we take that step, it will just keep going from there. So as it is now, as a group, that is our focus: getting to Lagos Comic-Con. I'm not going there as people who are just coming for the Comic-Con, because Kingsley attended in 2018, just alone. He just
see what
but so now you want to stand, you want to be one of the people, the vendors at the event. Okay, got you.
Yeah.
When is Comic-Con? Is there a summer thing? Is it
September
or something? Yeah, I had a feeling it was like fall-ish. Okay.
So I mean, in a case, so do you think you'll be there this year, or is it too early?
It's uncertain, really. We plan to this year, but it's still open anyway.
This one that fuel is 500 per liter. See, it will destabilize anybody that is even planned. Your belly will just start to the rose. My days.
I was hoping that you were going to send me to Nigeria
to go as a correspondent.
As a correspondent now, to attend Comic-Con now.
You do it virtually. You So that actually kind of you actually answered my second question, which was what next. And like you already said, it's about getting more, building out that content catalog,
exposure,
exposure, racking up those points in terms of exposure and in terms of content, and then even like going to Comic-Con. So yeah, I think that's really, really good. So you said Kingsley, right? Is okay, yeah. So Kingsley, and is this kind of what Kingsley does solely? You don't have to put his business out there, but the reason why I'm asking is like, is it no? The reason why I'm asking is like, does he draw for anyone else, or is it like a 4/7 Studios resource only? Like he doesn't freelance.
No, he does. He freelances.
Yeah, I mean this, and the reason why I ask it, this is so standard in the industry as well. Like it's rare to see someone that's like solely focused on. I mean, you're not Chris Claremont too. They're just going to tie you down and say, "I don't get anywhere." You usually have usually working across houses. Okay, brilliant. And where can the people like kind of reach out to you, see your stuff? Is there like an app? Is there a website? I know this stuff, but I just want you to put it out there, please.
Okay, our website,
socials, and your socials, whatever. Yeah.
For all our social media handles are 4/7 Studios. Instagram is 4_7 Studios, not in words, and figures 4_7 Studios. And then Twitter is same as the website, 4/7 Studios.
Amazing. Okay.
Before you go though, I have a question about your favorite comics and favorite creators. Who are the creators like? These are the kind of creators you want to write like. These are the kind of books you really like.
Okay, so this is going to be sort of odd, but I really like Ted Dekker.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a story in there. It's a bit of a digression, but I think this is the first time I'll talk about it in public. Yeah.
Okay.
So Ted Dekker has a trilogy, right? Black, red, and white. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
It's actually for black, red, white, green. But yeah.
Okay, it goes on.
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
So I bought that black from a classmate. Like I made him sell it to me. I gave him how much that day? 1K. I was in SS2. He didn't want to sell it. Ha! I told him, bro, I have to have this book. He said okay that he will sell it to me for 1K, and it was big money then, being in secondary school.
Of course.
And one more thing, there was this X-Men poster I drew. Hey, it was one of my favorites. Like, it's that kind of thing that my classmates want to see it, I'll hold it. So it doesn't
So you don't touch it. Take 4 steps back and just don't even breathe.
Yeah.
Just hold your breath while I show you this. Go on, sorry.
Yeah. And he said he wanted it. I almost I asked him if he could take any other one. He said no. And I don't even know. Maybe he knew somehow, but then I gave that up and I got that comic book. And I had a small stash, but it was my most prized possession. I don't know what drew me to Ted Decker as a kid, but I just liked that particular book. The story just did it for me. Right? There was Batman, there was Scott Snyder, I think. Yes, there was Spawn. I had a couple of Spawn books too. Capullo's art was mad.
Yeah, Capullo's art was brilliant. Yeah.
Yes, and I had a few old Batman books. I think somewhere. What was this writer's name? I can't remember. But Ted Decker primarily.
Okay.
As the writer is somebody. I don't necessarily have to put his style as in copy it exactly, but I think as far as people who author comic books go, he's one. If this was an artist question, like there are so many people, but since I'm not really focused on the art as a writer, this is just to focus. So yes.
No, go ahead, share your artist as well. I'm interested in hearing that.
Yeah.
Oh, like I said, Greg Capullo.
Yeah.
When I held my first Spawn book, hey, man, I would read it, then just flip, just to look at the art. I also like Mark Silvestri's work. It is
a very good artist. It's a very good artist. He did a Batman recently. That's really good. He wrote and Indulgent. But really good. He wrote and drew it. It's very good. Go on, sorry.
And there's also Will Potasio. I think he did some work on Legends of the Dark Knight.
Yes.
Yeah, back in the day.
I always remember him for not Wildcats.
The Wildcats was J. Scott Campbell.
No, yeah, he had this image book. I'm kind of what it's called. I'm looking. I can see the cover now. And I can't remember.
Youngblood.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a Youngblood book. Yeah.
Yes.
I did. So yes, these three, and of course Jim Lee. But I'm not so heavy on the Jim Lee, but because he did X-Men in the 90s, and I saw some of those books. So yeah, the art is also great.
Yeah, the definitive. He was like sort of. I would actually say one of the definitive, maybe if not top 3 of the 90s. So it's hate him or love him. Yeah, he was an influence.
I also like Andy Kubert too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, those are proper old school guys.
Yeah.
Like your taste is tending towards the old school artists.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
I had an X Factor book. Yeah, so all these guys are familiar to me.
Yeah.
Nice.
Brilliant. Any questions from you, Dapo, today?
No, I think it answered most of my questions. Yeah. What I would like to see, and I guess it's probably more of an advice that keep on pushing, especially your socials to people. Yeah. Get your content out there to people. Me and you are in a couple of groups together, and I'll be honest, I really did not realize you did this. And it was Kex who kind of like spoke to me about it. So I think I think that if you just do a lot more pushing of your social, to get people more aware, especially in groups where there's already an invested interest in such material anyway, it'd be great. Yeah. I mean, as a podcast, we love promoting Nigerian stuff, and we will push you and talk about you. That's our game.
All right,
100%. 100% agree. Yeah, and we will put your socials on on the Naija's Geeking Out podcast at you and add. Okay, I'll talk to you offline. I will get Kingsley's at details. I'll put them up as well. Brilliant. Okay, is there anything that we?
No, one more thing. Whenever you decide that you're going to go to Comic-Con, please let us know. Especially if you're going to be there with hard copies and stuff like that, so we can come. Hopefully, Keck can send me, and I can come and buy and get them signed. Because me, I want them signed though. I want them signed.
Don't worry, both of you can fund my trip to Nigeria. I will go. I will volunteer myself to visit.
No problem. No problem.
Awesome, bro. Thank you so much. It was fantastic having you on.
Yeah,
and are you going to see the Flash anytime soon? Dropped on Friday.
I know. I think I'm pushing myself.
Look, listen, it's got 2 Batmans, and you're a big Batman fanboy. There's 2 of them. I don't think there's any other movie that's had 2 Batmans.
Cakes.
Okay,
this is a sensible DC fan. You know, he's scared of his own studio. He's scared of them.
It's like, you know what? It's like in those days, if you see Pascal Sigan on the pitch, you'll be like,
why now?
They're going to beat us today. But okay.
I'm facing myself.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
All right, buddy. All right, nice one. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be catching you later.
Thanks a lot.
All right, cheers, bro.
Okay. Cheers.
Yeah.
All right. Right, guys, that was Uneke and from 47 Studios, and we'll be dropping their socials on our Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Right, I want to move on to some gist, kind of, some good, some bad, some middle of the road. Let's start with something good. Ultimate Universe, today go.
Yes.
I'm excited about this.
Yes, because when they first announced Ultimate Universe, I didn't care for it. I think I even complained on the podcast that it's not a title I want to revisit again.
Yeah, you
that
did.
Even Hickman writing it is not enough to motivate me to be excited about it. But now Marvel has dropped some announcements and given us a bit of teaser about what it's about. So I'm going to read out what Hickman said on this thing for us to see. Yeah.
Shoot.
Yes, so Hickman goes like this. Now, what made the Ultimate Universe originally interesting was that it was a reflection of the world outside your window in the moment when you were living it. What does it look like in the world we are living now? With the way the world has changed, the idea would be to see the genesis of superheroes in a brand new world. So that has me hooked completely.
I don't really get it.
So it's the Ultimate Universe was basically writing the origin of the superheroes in the 2000s, based on 2000s technology and everything. So they are basically doing the same thing, but based on modern day settings. So it's a fresh universe based on how the world is right now. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Yes.
So will it be 616?
No, it's an entirely new universe. No, it's an entirely new universe. An entirely new imprint with the Ultimate titles.
So can we expect things like predominance of social media, Trump/Biden type politics, he, she, gender pronouns, up and down the wazoo, trans superheroes? I'm just trying to understand.
That was just flood water on my title right now. I wasn't thinking about when I wasn't thinking about the politics. I was just thinking about I hope not.
No,
I mean, I don't think there's any avoidance of that, but I hope that is not the primary focus of the books.
I'm just being a wet blanket.
Yeah,
it's Hickman. I'm in already. The moment they said it was Hickman, I trust him. I like him, and I trust his writing. I like the Ultimate Universe. I'm a bit surprised that they still call it Ultimate. But
I think exactly. No, I'm surprised because same that one.
Yeah, so we've got Ultimate. So is it the same? So is this a new universe entirely? But it's called Ultimate.
Characters, or is it the same characters from Ultimate? Because I can see the maker here, and I hate that bastard. So is it the same characters, or is it going to be like a new X-Men?
I hope it's a completely new universe. I want like a completely fresh slate starting off. I don't want to say I don't want to see Miles in this particular book. I don't want to see the maker as a focal point. I want to see new stories, new
Brand new
people.
version of everybody. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, brand new version of everybody. That's what I'm looking forward to. Because for me, I think this is like Ultimate was one of the best entry points into comic books. It brought in a whole new generation into comic books that time when it came out. So doing something like that now, it's going to be really good for the industry as well. I think we've talked about it in one of the past episodes about what they can do to improve comic books. And I think this is one of the best ideas Marvel has to do. So yeah, I'm excited.
It makes me wonder how long Marvel have got Hickman tied down for.
They better tie that man down.
I believe he has. I think we talked about this maybe 2 years ago. I think it's a multi-year deal.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think he's allowed to do his Substack stuff, but I think it's a multi-year deal. And I think we talked about it before the X book started.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was quite publicized, and it was a big coup at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I for me, one of the things, one of my favorite things about the Ultimate Universe was like Ultimate Spider-Man with Bendis. I think that's one of the longest continuous runs we've had in comics for the longest time. Like I'm struggling to remember any other comic book that had that much run.
With one writer and one artist.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm hoping they stick to that format here. But I think that's one of the things that make manga really popular. It's one writer, one artist for a very long period of time. And so it's easy to know when to pick up and continue. So
I see what you're saying, but even in the original Ultimate Universe, that only really worked for Spider-Man. The other Ultimate books could not maintain that kind of consistency. So you had the Ultimates, and then we had Ultimate Fantastic Four,
Ultimate X-Men.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't think any of those had a long. Spider-Man was the one that did it, for that long period of time.
And the others suffered for it. Like Ultimate was good for one or two main books, and then it just went up the rails.
Yeah.
The same with the X-Men and the Fantastic Four.
The X-Men was
that's
the exact thing you said. The X-Men was so good for about 2-3 volumes. Then it went off the rails. Same thing with Fantastic Four, with the whole thing that happened with Reed. Same thing with the Ultimates. It went good, and then it started becoming a bit too all over the place. Tony Stark and Natasha did the sex scene.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Actually.
Yeah, that was weird. So I hope they can tie that for this particular universe. My hope is they tie down writers and artists for a long period of time.
Do we know how many titles we expect?
No, they've not made any announcements yet.
I think I saw 4.
Okay.
I think I saw 4.
Okay.
And I can do a quick check, but I do believe that I saw 4 at some point. So can you check that, please?
Because
I see in the notes that you said that it's out on June 21st. That's not long.
That's next week.
No, November. Ultimate Universe 1 is coming out November.
I thought I got. So where did I get June 21st? Are you sure today?
I'm looking at the article
right now. Are you sure? Are you sure? He's laughing, so he's wrong.
I'm sure. I'm waiting for you to confirm it. I'm waiting for you to confirm you're wrong.
Okay, say something. Say something.
So to all you listeners out here, this is just how professional we are. How we are.
Yeah.
I mean, I would doubt it's out in June, especially with the fall of the X-Men being the next big event. But you never know, New comics. I mean, I'm happy to welcome back Hickman to Marvel. Generally, I think he's.
Sorry,
I would say he's almost my favorite writer at the moment.
So sorry, Ultimate Invasion is in June. The Ultimate Universe.
Universe is in November.
Yeah.
So explain to me Ultimate Invasion. What is
Ultimate Invasion is the event.
Is what I was looking at. So Ultimate Invasion with Brian Hitch and Jonathan Hickman is starting in June, and it's the one that's 4 issues.
Got you. Okay, understood.
Yes. So and that's why I was confused, because on the cover of Ultimate Invasion, it has Captain America, Ultimate Captain America, it has the Maker, it has Miles, it has Ultimate Iron Man, Ultimate Giant Man, Ultimate Thor, Ultimate Hulk. So that's why I was a little confused. So
so in a way, you're both right, because I've just read here, Ultimate Universe is the end result of the Ultimate Invasion 4-point series.
Yeah.
So okay.
So the invasion is the kickoff points. Yeah. So it's just around the corner.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just exciting knowing that Hickman has a book that's coming out next week.
Yes. Yeah. That would be great.
So are you telling me that you're not excited about Night Terrors, the new DC events that's coming up in July?
What kind of segue is this?
No.
What kind of unnecessary segue is this?
Are you telling me that you're not excited about that?
This is the same event DC has been doing for years. They've done a nightmare where they went to the other side of the other universe where everything was dark and something, and it was all Batman populated. So I'm like every single year they do a Batman themed event where there are nightmares and stupid stuff and metal, and I don't care. I'm not reading it. I do not care. Like this should get. It frustrates me to see when they announce titles like this. It gets me pissed off every single time they come up with this new event, and I'm sure next year they already have another night event already planned, because it's as if their entire creative this thing is empty. They don't have anything creative in their life. It's nah.
Right, sorry. I should know the answer to this.
Yeah.
Who's the creative leader at DC? Is it Jim Lee?
I think Jim Lee's the president.
It's president. It got promoted. It got promoted at one point in time. Yeah.
So who
I don't know
who steers the ship, really? Jeff Johns? It's not Jeff Johns, is it?
I don't think it's Jeff Johns. I don't want to blame Jeff Johns without being sure it's him. So I will.
Is it Snyder? Is this
Scott?
No.
Okay. No, it's not Scott.
Williamson has been handling some of the biggest books, so maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, but Williamson is handling this book anyway. This night.
He has been doing some of the biggest events. He has been basically writing the same events for the past few years, but all credit to them. Yeah.
It's like he'll put this in the microwave, he'll warm it again, and then he'll serve it.
And then
so Jim Lee is the chief creative officer for DC.
Okay, I stand corrected. I thought it was just the president. Okay, yes. So
I see.
Yeah.
No, DC needs help. They need someone to come in there and clean house. It's because look,
when you say clean house, let me ask you a question. When you say clean house, what do you want to see?
What I want Jeff Jones out, Jim Lee out, Williamson out, Snyder out. I love these guys, but no, they should go. Like I want someone to come in, empower writers to write good stories and not just Batman focused stories. Push out on your main books. Like the good writers on DC are writing side stories, they are writing one shots, they are writing black label books. That is where you find good books on DC. But on the main titles, it's as if all their energy is just gone. They don't have any strength for writing anything good there.
So that's a very hot take, but I agree with you. And those people you mentioned are people I like, but I think that they need to go.
Look at Chip Zdarsky, for goodness sake. Chip Zdarsky was one of the best Daredevil runs we've seen in recent history. This man entered DC. He's giving us Last Ride. He's giving us. Look at his Batman. What the hell is this?
What the guy is doing in Batman right now is people should go to prison for what the guy is doing. He's just so stupid. That Batman went to another alternate Earth. Where he met another Selina Kyle. They cut his hand. Then Tim went to get him. Now he's come back. Now he's having.
I mean, look what's happening to Tim. Oh, I can cry. No, please.
Yeah, people it's bad. It's bad.
This needs help. Like the way they write their stories, they need to. I think everybody in DC, the way they write their stories needs to be overhauled. I don't know why, but they don't write grounded stories again. I think Neo 52 has burnt them from it. But look at the Titans book we read last week, or is it 2 weeks ago? Yeah. There is this cartoony element to it, like this cartoony, very unserious kind of element to it. McQuaid does it well with Shazam.
Yeah, Shazam
but it does it well with Shazam. It does it well with World Finest. But the rest, it's just like I can't take anything they are doing in the book seriously. Look at even Superman self. That Superman is trying, but I'm like, you have all these superpowered characters, and somebody's attacking your lord, and nobody's noticing it. I'm like, okay,
I want to say something here. You mentioned Titans, and that's what reminded me of this issue for me. And this is where I think sometimes people can get things just really, really wrong. In the DC universe, the premier super team is Justice League. That's it. Now, people work their way up in their superhero career into the Justice League. The Justice League is the top heroes of that time. The fact that you now say that Teen Titans itself is the premier superhero just shows you don't understand how it should work. If you want to promote the Titans into Justice League, yes, they become Justice League members, but they're not Titans at that time.
Disband, yeah.
You know, it's like in Arsenal. I said in Arsenal, in Marvel,
yeah,
the top dogs get promoted into the Avengers.
Yeah,
you know, Avengers is always a top team. The Titans will never be a top team, no matter how you do it. Justice League is still your top team. I know they try to do this. Okay, no, Justice League's not around. No, they should have just promoted those guys into Justice League.
Yeah, I agree.
I can rant on this topic a lot because look at what Marvel is doing with their comics now. There's like a more focus on the serious elements of comic book. Like it's not just comic in comic book. They are focusing on the consequences, repercussions, how it plays out in the real world. It's not just superheroic sports, superheroic sake. Yes.
What's his name? Even though I'm starting to get annoyed, Daredevil to an extent.
Yeah. The entire X-Men franchise is not just superheroics anymore. There's a whole world of things to be explored. But DC refuses to move forward. Like I think since Jeff Jones decided to do a rebate and say, okay, everybody, we're taking you back to the 90s, they are just stuck in that mindset of bombastic elements that made their best books and refusing to evolve. They're just talking, oh, everything must be Infinite Wars, everything must be Crisis, everything must be cartoon, everything must be the music of the physics of the world without writing about the consequences of what really happened in this story. So it's like, DC, I'm a big fan, but I'm frustrated. I'm actually frustrated reading DC books now.
Okay. Moving on to another DC property then. The Batman Part 2. This was a movie that I think had middling reviews within our group. I loved it. I think that one did not particularly like it. Today you were middling. Yeah. I really liked it. Part 2. So before we started this, today you were saying that we've got some casting news.
Yeah, like it's still rumors, early stages.
Yeah.
But Joel Edgerton and Josh Arnett are rumored to be playing Two-Face in the movie.
Yes.
So yeah,
we're
looking forward to that.
I would really like Josh Hartnett, although Joel Edgerton looks more like Two-Face. Josh Hartnett still has a pretty boy. Two-Face has never really been a pretty boy, you know. I mean, even without the disfigurement of his face, you know, Harvey Dent has kind of been a man's man, you know, and I think very much a Joel Edgerton feel. But I love Josh Hartnett. I mean, he missed out on Batman years ago. I'd love for him to join the franchise one way or another. So yeah, I mean, if they're going to introduce Two-Face, I'm looking forward to it. What do you guys think about the casting news?
For me, I do like Joe Edgerton. We spoke off air about this, and you reminded me of his role in Warrior, and also as the father of Luke Skywalker in Obi-Wan. And yes, I'm totally on board with him being Two-Face. Just Hartnett, I like just Hartnett, but I don't see it personally. Him as Two-Face. Not saying he can't do it, but I can see Joel instantly as Two-Face. So for me, I'm edging hopefully towards Joel Edgerton.
Okay, today.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't. One or the other?
No, I'm not leaning towards any of them. Like either one is fine for me.
Okay.
It doesn't,
Yeah. Well, speaking of casting news, did you guys hear about the Superman Legacy casting starts next week, something like that?
Oh yeah. I've got a call next week to go in.
Good number 21.
I don't know why you're laughing. I don't know why you're laughing.
yeah, I mean, there were a few names put out there, and one in particular I find very shocking, and that's Nicholas Hoult. Did you guys hear about this? I mean, it's so strange. Yeah, the Beast from the new X-Men, the new Fox X-Men.
Nicholas Superman.
Yes. I mean,
he's a good actor, but Nicholas?
No,
he's a good actor. What do you mean?
He's a good actor.
He's not Superman, is what I'm saying. When I say
okay.
You can be. I mean, Kevin Spacey is a good actor, despite all this bullshit. But no, Nicholas Hoult cannot be cast. I mean, the other guys at least look like what you'd expect from a young Superman. But
okay, I mean, if you put Nicholas Hoult in glasses, he can do a Clark Kent.
But his mouth, mouth is very distinctive. Like he has British teeth. Like how is he gonna? I'm sorry.
Wait, can I ask a question?
No. Yeah.
Has a Brit ever played Superman before?
Henry Cavill is British.
Oh, of course. I forgot.
Okay. Hold it.
Let me rephrase that. Has anybody, a British actor, ever played Superman? Cheap shot.
Yeah, DK, George Reeves, Christopher Reeves, Henry Cavill.
No, to be honest, I totally forgot that Cavill.
Yes.
I don't know why. I should have wiped his career as Superman out from my mind. Yeah.
Poor guy. And you saw him last year as Superman. Yeah. Okay. So casting news. I guess we'll find out more. What's that? Comic books. That one, you and I read a pretty interesting comic book.
Yes. You loved it.
This comic book to me, yes. And it's been going for a while, so a lot of people that we're talking to have probably even read this. But we just thought that we should talk about it on the podcast. Today, have you read The Nice House on the Lake?
Nah, I avoid James Tynion horror books. Like, it's not
a horror book.
That's what
it isn't?
No.
That's what I thought too. That's exactly
okay.
Because the covers are horror.
Yeah,
they're very gory. That is exact when that told me. I was like, I know James Tynion has been writing this thing for like 2 years now, but I don't like horror. Or I typically stay clear of it. But this really good stuff, and it is stuff that you will like.
Yes. Okay.
It's stuff that you will like. It's basically. Let me read the synopsis of the first one. Everyone was invited to the house. Knows Walter. So Walter is a character, the central character in this comic book, who invites 10 people over to this fantastic lake house in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, just overlooking a lake.
The very nice house.
Amazing. Like it's the house of a billionaire. It's a house that you'd expect someone like Lex Luthor or Jeff Bezos to own. Yeah. Private house, nice, beautiful woods, everything, serene lake. And then while they're there, they discover basically that the world has come to an end. There's been an attack globally. Yeah. People are dying. Mass extinction level event.
Yes.
And it sounds like a biological attack, but there's no effects on anybody in the lake house. So they now start to question, and they're like, Walter, what are we doing here? And then a lot of stuff starts to come out. I don't want to spoil it any more than that.
Don't say anything more than that.
Nothing more than that. Except everybody in the lake house is there for a particular reason. Yes. They all contribute. And this is something that when I was talking about, like, this will make an absolutely fantastic TV series.
Totally.
It is.
And you're saying this is not horror?
It's written for television.
It's not horror at all. It's actually not horror
for TV.
Yeah. It's not horror at all. It's. I mean, when I started reading it, I thought it was going to be. But very quickly, in the first issue, you realize it's not.
Because that's one of the creepiest covers I've seen. I remember the covers.
The covers put me off. But they are not. No, there's no supernatural elements to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's completely science fiction.
Yeah.
So that's
okay.
And it's spot on for TV, not a film.
Yeah.
What was your vibe on this one before you
I for some reason, I don't know why it was in my iPad. I'd piled them up and I hadn't read it. And I think the reason was what Tunde just said. The covers looked like, oh god, this is going to be like some really dark stuff, horror.
Yeah, I thought it was a slasher. Yeah, supernatural.
Yeah. But I'm doing this thing where I'm going through my iPad and picking the comics where I've got whole collections and trying to read them, or I'll delete it. I started reading the first issue. That was it. Literally halfway through. I'll put it in. Finish it. It's a great character study.
Yes.
As well. It focuses a lot on characters.
Yes.
There's a lot of what I would say a debate around what makes human beings act the way we act.
Yeah.
And and what is our driving force. I love all of that. I'm a big sci-fi fan. There's a big sci-fi element to this as well.
Yes.
There's a big end of the world survival aspect to it as well. It really brings it all together, and it's done well. And where it ends, I love as well. It's really a good story, and at no point was I bored. If I'm being honest, at no point. I don't want to say too much without really spoiling some of the key elements of the show, but yes, as you said, it will make a great TV series.
They have to make a TV series about
to
this.
Me, and
it can't be missed. Yeah.
To me,
Netflix.
Sort of. This book could be the show that Lost tried to be, in my mind. It could do what Lost should have done, like be really like a god tier TV show. Because Lost started out really promising, and then just lost its roots entirely. So I'll recommend this. I mean,
Lost just became a J.J. Abrams thing. So
it
started from something really, really, really fantastic premise, and then it kind of lost its way in a lot more nonsense. Yeah. Sorry, Tunde, did you want to say something?
No, nothing else. Okay. I'm going to read the book. I'm definitely going to pick up the book to read.
Yeah, 12 issues, 2 volumes, and this is the end of the first cycle. So there might be something James is still. But I think part of the challenge as well is for a book like this is waiting for that extended period for another issue to drop and then another issue to drop. But the good news is that 12 issues have dropped now, and that's the story as far as we know. So you should jump on board and watch. And honestly, I can actually cast some of the actors that I want to play these characters. Oh, really? While reading it, I was like, okay, this person would act here, this person would act here, and there's a doctor, a musician.
Did you have anybody? Did you have anybody for Walter?
For Walter, let me think.
Jack Black.
No,
just
somebody came to mind though for me.
Well,
it's a bit left field, but I think he could pull it off. And Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
I think he can pull it off.
Yeah, yes, he can, because he has that mix of not fearlessness, but when someone that doesn't look scary, unassuming type of slightly pudgy guy, glasses that everyone loves. It's an absolute blast, and it is a character study, like you said, and it's a book that you can actually recommend to people who don't even read comic books and say,
indeed,
what you think about this. Yeah. Okay, cool. So our recommend is The Nice House on the Lake by James Tynion IV.
Okay,
tell us what you think next week.
Definitely.
On to the not so great stuff, guys. There has been another fresh allegation of sexual assault, sexual abuse allegations.
Sexual abuse of power of a sexual predator. I guess it's emotional abuse.
No, there's sexual there as well. So let's not forget, by one of the, can I say, linchpins of the next, phase of the Marvel.
Is it really a linchpin?
I don't. The thing is, let me put it this way: I don't see how that movie is the only movie that guy is going to appear until the next movie. I think he's going to be very critical, very critical over the next few movies. That's genuinely my take.
I would have thought so.
I don't think he's too, the character, even in the comic books, is too big to just introduce him and then show him off later. No. This guy is big.
Okay.
And this is Tenoch Huerta, the gentleman who acted as Namor in Wakanda Forever. Is it Wakanda Forever? Yeah, it is Wakanda Forever.
Yes, right.
So Tenoch has been accused of sexual abuse by Maria Elena Rios, And she tweeted this, and this is what she said at verbatim. It is very difficult to talk about the emotional abuse and abuse of power of a sexual predator who is loved around the world for playing a character in a movie like at Tenor Quetta. She added him. Charming in appearance, the great hallmark of a narcissist, plus a good helping of victimization. I mean, this is heavy. It's very, very heavy. So Maria Elena Rios is a Mexican saxophonist who very, very strong feminist lady. She's a victim of an acid attack by her boyfriend who was a politician. And then as later on, Tedok has, of course, responded to the allegations via a Variety, which we saw in a Variety article. And he said basically that he and Maria dated a while back, and it was a very good relationship, and they dated for a few months, and he doesn't know what's going on, but he will. He's got his lawyers working on it, so you can imagine that Kevin Feige and the whole of Marvel right now are shitting themselves. Right. I know this is everything we say here is conjunction, right? We went in the room, we don't know what's happening, we don't know anything, but it feels weird that a person. I mean, I'm not one to talk about abuse. I don't know anything about it, but she dated this gentleman. And she comes out now, and it just feels like there's no concrete proof, and it feels like just an allegation years later to say, hey, this guy abused me sexually. And people have been asking her that, okay, can you tell us what happened? And she's like, I'll tell you when I'm ready. What's that mean? You can't throw out things like that without backing it up.
I mean,
she might want to save it for court.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. I mean, the way I see things like this is, first of all, no matter the type or how much evidence there is, I always wait for the court case, the final judgment before I make any decisions or judgments based on these people. Now, in the early days, some might give me more concern than others based on what's being said. So, like for when the Jennifer Majors incident happened, I would say I was more concerned about that one because there was a specific accusation of assault in a taxi. There was we knew what was accused of that he did. It was a concrete allegation.
Yeah.
This, when I first read it, this sounds really bad. But when I read it again, it also sounds like there's nothing at all being said. The abuse and powers of a sexual predator. What does that mean? What's a sexual predator? Did he try and get you to come back and you didn't want to, or did he use his influence to get you to date him? I don't understand what this means. So to me, there's a lot less meat for me to even get hold of in this story at the moment. As far as I know, is you've just basically said a lot of words that are very negative in connotations regarding this chap. And now, so more so than the Jennifer Majors one, this one to me is a wait and see. At the moment, I have almost zero thoughts on this at all in any direction.
I mean, to today's point about maybe she's saving it for court.
Yep.
Then in that case, open a formal charge against him.
Yeah.
And not just throw out a tweet, which will throw everything in chaos, and they'll just be like, I'm going to wait for my day in court. But then you should have formally accused him,
It reeks of pre-damaging assault.
Yeah.
Like, attack him socially. Maybe you might lose some work, before we even get to any court.
The last point. But
yeah,
like for me, I'm with Dapo and you on this. Like I've come to, because we've seen several cases like this, I've come to not place a lot of credence on complaints like this without waiting for the court case to see how it plays out, especially cases like this where there's no specific incident. But also, if there is, I'm also looking at it from the other side. If there was an incident, I can't be the best place to tell someone how to react or how to take action on that. Yeah. So if there was actually something major that happened and there's the way she's reacting to it, I can't judge her for that. There's no best way to do that.
Yep.
So
I agree.
Yeah, so I'm just going to wait and see on how it plays out in court. Yeah. If we get there. Yeah.
I mean, we'll watch this space pretty much the same as we're doing with the Jonathan Majors one. Has there been any major updates on that, by the way?
There's been the first appearance in court a few days ago. I think another one is still in a couple of weeks.
Can I check something on the Major's case? Please correct me if I'm wrong. I know she accused him, called the police got involved. My understanding that she dropped the charges. But is this one of the cases where the police are still going ahead because you don't have to press charges?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I understood. Yeah.
Okay. No, fair enough.
Yep. Okay. Right. From something slightly morbid to something a little more, I don't know, upbeat.
Yes.
Box office talk and predictions.
Yes, let's talk predictions and who's.
Wait.
They're coming down now. They're coming down. Calm down.
Wait. I want to start with Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So we all kind of gave this movie, well, not we all, because I wasn't on the podcast that day, I must say.
Correct.
But you guys gave this movie kind of almost a death knell type numbers, prediction numbers. Dapo, can you throw up the numbers again?
Yes, I can. No, I can indeed. I'll do. I'm very glad to do that. So
yes,
I'll start with Red. Red said this film will make 600 million.
Okay.
Anybody who listens to Red, it's on their own. So, you got a joker. Today said 700 million.
Okay.
And I said 750 million.
Okay. And what is this movie at thus far?
So my understanding is it's definitely more than 600. It's definitely more than 700. And I think it's slightly above 750.
Wow, 863 is slightly above 750. Over 100 million.
So it's doing well. Let's be honest. It's done 860 as Tony just said, which is quite good, especially in this era where a billion is no longer beans for Marvel as it used to be before.
Oh wait, sorry. No. It's not 862. It's
806.
True that it's 806. Yeah.
Yes. 863.
Yes.
Okay. So 806.
Yes. Which is still,
yes.
Okay.
Which is really good.
Off that.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
So on that one, I think there's a clear winner in the prediction games on that one.
Actually, there isn't. It's too high above your mark to be counted. No. There should be a cap for it. You can't predict the lowest. What's it called?
If it's too high above my mark, what does that say about yours?
We're all wrong. We are all wrong in this game. Like, if the movie goes on to make $1 billion, would you still say you are the winner of this when you are so far off the mark? It's like, no, please. Play.
Have you ever done those questions where they ask you how many jelly beans are there in the container?
Yes.
The person who comes closest who wins, even if he's off by 1,000.
Right. I'm just absolutely loving and so happy for that movie.
For it, yeah. He deserves it.
Absolutely.
Because I think the negative predictions came from like the successive failures of Marvel to the box office for their trilogies. For Multiverse of Madness not doing as well as expected, Thor being completely a crap fest, and then Ant-Man 3, all trilogy ending movies not doing well. So it's really good.
But to be honest, I think those 4 films you just mentioned all got what they deserved.
Yes, we all agree on that.
If we're being completely honest, I think Love and Thunder made more than it actually deserved.
What did it get to? Sorry,
I don't care. I really don't. I mean, even Hemsworth has been quoted as saying that he thinks that film is not good.
It's not good.
Yeah, but
Love and Thunder was 760.
Him saying it, I feel is
760.
760.
That did a lot more than I expected it to do then.
Yeah, but him saying it feels a little for me disingenuous. I mean, and not being fair. You could have spoken up while the movie was being done.
No, you can't do that.
One second. You could have told Taikai while that movie was being done. The way he plays Thor now, and at the level at which he's at, I genuinely believe that he has input into the creative process. It's like him doing. It's like, of course. Sorry.
Can I say something?
Yes.
And this is me just saying this. Obviously, I was not on the set with any of these guys. A director can shoot a movie with a guy, and the guy does not understand how when it's put together, how it come out. He might they could do 3 or 4 or 5 takes of stuff. They could do we'll just shoot a B-roll, and maybe he didn't realize until it was all put together how it looks. Now that might just be giving excuses, but I can see that he did not realize how over the top or how comedic this was until he actually saw it as a film. Which is why I can give allowance sometimes. Yes,
understood. And I completely agree with you. Yeah. But not an actor of Chris's standing in a franchise like the MCU. Mm-hmm. He's been here for over 10 years now. He's done over 7 films.
Yep.
Just finger in the air, over 7 films at least that he's done as the same character. So when they say talk to Stormbreaker like Stormbreaker is a jealous girlfriend, are you telling me that there was no way
that might be one take? No, that might be one take, and another take is.
No. There's a difference between a take that is a take, and a tone. And the tone of this movie from start to finish was slapstick and comedic. I mean,
I'll give you one answer. I'll give you one answer to that.
Yeah.
The director that did the best Thor movie, was this guy. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
In that same film.
Yes.
That the one that we call Ragnarok.
Yes.
There was a scene where they're talking about Mjolnir pulling off Thor, like a slapstick, the same level of joke. I can imagine on this set of this new one, Hell going, "Are you sure about this?" And then he going, "Listen, was I sure about Ragnarok?" Shutting them up, saying, "Listen, you had the same complaint about Ragnarok. See how that came out. Trust me." And maybe then Hemsworth gave him too much trust this time round.
Yeah.
I'm making excuses. I'm making excuses.
No. I get you. But then the movie's out. You trusted it before. Right now, you're wanting to shut up. Shut up. You were there on set. You were doing all this nonsense. You were doing all this.
Why don't you tell the fans to shut up too? Why is he only that shut up?
Why would you tell the fans to shut up?
They are 1 and 2. They are one of two now. They had one good one bad one. Same stone, same director. Abi?
No, you're just hating.
Yes.
No. This is a very DC. This is a DC logic.
You are telling me to shut up because he trusted the director.
You are telling the actor. I'm telling the actor.
Yeah.
Who was in this, who has now come out to say that this movie was not good. I'm telling him to shut up.
Yes. Someone asked him, "Did you like the movie?" He said, "No, it was not good." Should you come and say the movie was the greatest thing ever? Won't you attack him more for that?
The most DC logic ever. But okay. That's why your studio is in this state. I'm going to take you there. Across the Spider-Verse now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about, first off, before we go too far, I want to talk about what our box office predictions were for.
Yeah, what was the box office prediction for this movie?
Today, 800. That one, 825. 675.
What was your text?
675.
Where is it at now?
Let me 1 second while I consult the Oracle. Oracle! Where is Across the Spider-Verse? I shouldn't be laughing because I want this film to be successful. But anyway, it's been the second weekend, and this movie is at 313. Now, I think the reason why we're also surprised is that the first weekend it was like 200 and something, almost $250 million, and this weekend it's now at 313. So the maths feels like it's not mathing, and it needed to do a lot. It needed to do really well, really quickly.
No, it does. It did really well.
Funny enough, the maths is mathing. Because it had about a 54% drop.
Yeah, and that's a good drop.
Which is a good drop.
Yeah.
So 200 to 300 is not bad.
It's not 200. It's not 200 to 300. It is 200.
Yeah.
Or 250 to 80.
No, opening. No. Domestic. No.
Okay. 206. It was.
Pardon me. Was it 206?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. My bad. So 206 to 107.
Yeah.
Extra, yeah.
Yeah, 206 to 107.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm saying is it needs to do well, really well, in a short amount of time before the Flash comes out.
Yeah, correct.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue now. That Flash is going to come and...
And this movie is doing really well as well. Transformers is doing really well.
I heard so. Yeah, I heard so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when I went to watch my second viewing of Spider-Verse, the cinemas were packed out for the next 3 viewings. That was on Saturday.
For Spider-Verse. Well, it really needs to step it up.
But 300, I don't know. Is that low? Forget all of it that come out.
No.
Is that low for 2 weeks?
No.
Okay. No. All right. Okay. So our fear is that it's going to come crashing to a halt against the Flash.
Maybe not a halt, but a trickle.
I honestly don't think so.
Okay.
I honestly don't think the Flash is. Let me not talk too much.
Okay. So
it's going to ground it here.
I wish we had Olawale on this podcast. I swear though. So based on these people and their maths, where does this film look like to them that's going to end up at? We had their predictions because I know they can't stop talking about this kind of stuff.
I don't know. I don't know what they're saying. Okay. But they are both aligned on less than $1 billion anyway, which is fine because we're not saying $1 billion is a yardstick. You know, as long as it makes about 674, I'm happy. But seriously, I do want the film to do really well, but I don't know if it will make 300 million over the next whatever. I don't.
And on some slightly sad news, these guys have confirmed that's their last movie in the Spider-Verse trilogy. Lord and Miller, the third one. No, the third one is their last movie. They don't plan on making any more after that.
Good. So that Spider-Woman rumor, we can start hating them.
Maybe somebody else.
We don't want. We don't want.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Now, box office predictions for The Flash. Let's go.
I am going to revise my earlier enthusiasm. I was very excited for this.
Remember all the cameos.
Yes. So I was going to say I was very bullish in my mind before, and I was going to go for the $1 billion mark. I am. Yes, I was. If you don't know how excited I was by this trailer, but I think common sense has come back from holiday. Has come home, and I said, "Are you mad?"
Yes, you were.
So I'm still excited, but I'm really now going back down to the 750 mark for this.
Okay, that's exactly what I thought. So you're going 750, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go 756.
Okay. Today.
I pray you lose because of that 6 million.
No, I'm gonna change mine completely. I'm going 780.
780.
780 today.
720. So you're all calling random numbers like this.
Okay, so we've got from lowest 720, 756, and 780.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been some complaints thus far about the CGI, which let's just hope it can entertain enough, right? Let's hope it can entertain enough. That's
let's hope the cameos make up for it.
Yeah.
And the story like if the story makes up for it, then
Yeah, I think bad CGI, as long as it's not like Black Panther versus Killmonger bad.
Have you seen the CG for this? No, this is bad.
Is it?
You see, it looks like a video game. That's the biggest complaint.
Yeah, but I'm okay. I saw the trailer, the first couple of trailers, and I presume they've done a lot more work on the film.
No, that's the level of CG. That level of CG we are going to be seeing in the movie. At least from the reviewers, that's what you should expect.
But the movie has 2 Batmans. I mean, can I just say the movie has 2?
Actually, if you do the maths on this, let's do the maths.
One Batman made 1 billion.
A DC film of a non-Batman DC film should make for a good one. And since it's Flash, like after the top 3, you could arguably say he's next. Should make 400, 500 easy just by that alone.
I agree with you easily.
Look at what Black Adam did now, Shazam.
Black Adam, yeah, but they're not. They're like number 10 characters. So let's say 500. You add the best live action Batman ever. That should have another 100 million.
Because
then you have the 1989 original OG Batman, another 150 million on top.
Just for that nostalgia's sake.
Then
increase your money now. Increase from 756. You can do 900.
I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. I'll leave it at this. But if this thing does not make 750, nothing. Now, massive film.
It's not a film. This movie does not have a future, so it's not a film.
So here's the thing, right? So I just want to touch on this very, very quickly because this movie is getting a lot of positive word of mouth from industry. I don't want to say experts, but industry people, right? Industry heavyweights. That's the word. Yes. That is exactly the word. Now, if this is backed up by fan and critical acclaim and love, as well as box office sort of 780 to 800, what does James Gunn now do?
No, this leads to instead of water than water, characters can return. It's not. If you notice, James Gunn is not rolling out characters returning, but this movie ends. It just ends.
Of course, I'm not expecting. Yeah, I'm saying so. It's possible for Ezra to return.
Yes, it's possible for Ezra to return,
and it's possible for Sasha to feature.
Definitely, I think Sasha definitely might feature in the next one.
I actually think
the plans. Yeah,
Ezra might not return.
Might not.
If put it this way, let's say the film was a success, despite what we've heard about Ezra's shenanigans, they might still think, right, good, we're having the film made a success, we can build on it. But does it mean it was a success because of the Flash, or was it a success because of the Batman cameos, because of Sasha? Until I see the film, you can't decide.
Yeah.
You know what makes it.
But everybody has been praising Ezra. Like there has been a lot of praise for Ezra.
Yeah, but the praise I've seen is almost qualified praise.
Fair.
Well, okay, sorry. Don't let me over egg the pudding. I saw one particular review before I stopped it because I thought it was going to, and his basically was saying he liked Ezra, and he liked Ezra because it was almost like Ezra realized his character in the previous film was so over the top that he kind of toned it down, but they put another Ezra in there that was like the old Ezra
over the top. Yeah.
So he kind of like used that to balance himself. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course, it does. If you met yourself 10 years ago,
yes,
you would be looking at your 10 years ago. So like, what's wrong with this guy? Calm down now. So
I can imagine my 10-year-old self from the future looking at me and just shaking his head.
No. Shaking his head and just be like, I can't believe you're still in DC. Do you know what they're going to show you in the future?
But you know what? That thing you just say there, I think everybody in the world, if you met your 15-year-old guy, you think you probably look at 15-year-old guy that he was an idiot.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've done our predictions. We have talked about TEDx. We have talked about comic books. We have talked about the Ultimate Universe and what's coming up. We've talked about casting news. And we've spoken to one of our Naija guys who's doing great stuff in comic books. Is there anything else that we need to cover?
No, apart from the fact that next week, guys, we will again be broadcasting live our review of The Flash. So I will be sending out reminders early on, guys. So please join us on YouTube, to take part in our live podcast. The last one actually did quite well in terms of numbers, guys, just to let you know. And so I'm glad for our listeners and viewers for, not only, and a lot of the time when we do a podcast that's live, we lose a lot of the listeners to the YouTube channel. But even the podcast still had a quite high number compared to usual. So I'm very happy for our subscribers and listeners out there. Please keep doing the good work.
Awesome. Great. Today, do you want to say goodbye to our listeners?
Yeah. Goodbye. Get ready for the DC event of the year. The movie Tom Cruise has called one of his. Okay, Tom Cruise really likes this movie. Let's put it that way. So if Tom Cruise likes it, all you fans of Tom Cruise go and watch this movie.
Sorry. Since when does
Yes.
Tom Cruise opinion add any weight to anything?
There are some people that worship. Exactly, that worship on
Let's
the
not. I
altar
do
of Tom
call
Cruise.
my
Yes.
name, bro. Call my name.
So today that means since Tom Cruise has given it the thumbs up, Kurt can dare not come here next week and say anything otherwise.
He can't. He can't.
Okay.
It dare not. As in, there is no anything he says against it. I'm calling Tom Cruise on his head.
Yes.
You don't call Tom Cruise, you invoke him. All right, guys. Awesome. So guys, remember to rate, like, subscribe. Thank you very much for listening. Naija's Geeking Out, episode 136, and see you later. So today.
Yes, sayonara.
Tabo.
And once again, thanks for listening and see you later.